Hello everyone. Um, is it okay? Do you hear me okay? I'm not sure exactly how. Okay, so I'm Diana Chirila. I'm SAP Cloud Platform Presales, and today I will be here for you to guide you through the first steps in SAP Cloud Platform. We will start by having a short overview about the architecture, what are the scenarios, and what are the development tools that you can use inside the SAP Cloud Platform. This will take just like 20 minutes, not too many slides for you, so you're not going to get bored. And after this, we will go into the platform directly, create an account, and we will have a few exercises that you will work on individually. So I hope you will enjoy it. If you have any questions during this presentation, please just raise your hand and say it. Good, so let's start. How many of you are already familiar with SAP Cloud Platform? No? Okay, this is good. At least everyone is at the same level, so we can have the same level of knowledge. So SAP Cloud Platform is a platform as a service, and actually it offers three main things. First of all, we have infrastructure. Then we have the data storage, and after that we have the services, all these things that we will go into details a bit later, that will actually help you create the applications on top of that. So if you are talking about infrastructure as a service, until now SAP was offering only SAP infrastructure, but actually starting with last year, actually this year is for general availability, we are offering our platform also in other infrastructures like Amazon, which is also general available. Microsoft Azure is in beta testings, and Google Cloud Platform will come really soon. What does this mean? If you would want, or you will have customers, let's say, who are interested in having some other kind of infrastructure, you will have the possibility to still have all these services offered by SAP Cloud Platform in other infrastructures. That's one thing. The next one other innovation that we have brought this year is the fact that we are part of Cloud Foundry. This means that besides the databases that we are traditionally offering, the ASE database, which is a relational database, and the in-memory database, the HANA in-memory database, we are offering you the possibility also to store your data in some other kind of databases like MongoDB, Postgres, and many others. Also the big data services that are part of our platform now. When we are talking about services, we are offering you a wide range of services that are ready to use through APIs mainly, like for security, for integration, for mobile services. Also, user experience, I will show you a bit later something more detail about what Vlad showed you, like all the SAP environment and how it looks now through Fiori. I will show you how to develop that. And then collaboration, analytics, IoT, machine learning, and many others. We will see them in the platform later. So let's talk a bit about the scenarios. Vlad already mentioned some business cases based on some scenarios. Let's see what kind of tools you would need to develop that. So today, in today's world, as you have seen the case from Atlantic and the other ones from the InnovMatch, businesses are seeking agility. So they are trying to have a way of exposing data from their systems in a more agile way. So in this case, we are trying to bring mobile services for them, also a really easy to use user interface, the possibility to analyze data on the go, as you have seen the video from Glue with all those video displayings, and also API Business Hub, because right now we have seen that we need the possibility to share APIs with our partners, our customers in their applications. Then we have, okay, we want to use the data from on-premise, but how are we going to do that? Because we need to expose it some way. So we are offering out-of-the-box SAP integration through SAP Integration Services. We'll see later when we go into the platform how it's done. Also, you have the possibility to do data integration and process integration at the same time, depending on the use case, and secure everything at every level. And then when we are talking about innovation, not only we are bringing Cloud Foundry, as I told you, so we are aligned with the standards in the cloud development, but we are also bringing new services that are offering you the possibility to be innovative and be up to date with all the technology innovations. So I will go more into details regarding the technical scenarios that the platform enables you to create. So first of all, we have the new application scenario, when you create an application from scratch. Then we have the cloud extensions, and then we have the possibility to extend the on-premise system. So for the first scenario, we have four more main components that we are talking now. First of all is the application level, then the service. After this, the persistence and connectivity. We will discuss about this for all three scenarios that I mentioned before. So for new applications, we are advising you to use Fiori user interface because this offers you the possibility, first of all, to have a responsive design that it's really easy to develop. You will see you have the possibility to test your application in real time when you are developing it to see how it looks on different devices. And when you deploy it, you can then use it on any device. Also, it offers you a really nice library of controllers and elements that can help you do the coding faster. So I will show you also this later. And actually, that's our recommendation. Of course, you can use also other frameworks. If you want to use Angular or React or any other things, you can still do that and use the SAP Cloud Platform backend. But this is something that we are recommending you. Next, on the service level, we have, let's say, the Java runtime for the backend application. That's just an example. It can be also some other things. On the persistence level, we'll say that you have either an SAP ASE, the relational database, or when you need the real-time processing power of to access the data, you can have the HANA in-memory database. That will be on the persistence layer. And for connectivity, you have nothing because it's a standalone application, it's not connected to anything. Those would be the main components for the new application. Do you have questions so far? No? Okay, then we move forward to extending a cloud solution. What do we mean by that? So we have, for instance, many cloud applications like an application for HR, which is called SuccessFactors, which our customers are actually enjoying, but sometimes they want to customize. They want something personalized for their business. So in order to do that, we can use SAP Cloud Platform that can develop an extension that actually is going to be deployed inside that application. So for this, when we are talking about application level, we still are going to recommend you Fiori, so you don't get away with that. Next, on the service level, we still have the Java code for the backend, but we also need to do some integrations with the SAP Cloud Platform integration. Those services will be connecting to the cloud application. When we are talking about persistence, in this case, you won't have a database that is going to be in the platform that you are going to use, but actually you are going to use the application, the cloud application that you are going to be connected to. So all the persistence is going to be related to that application because you will extract data from there and then you will need to push it back because it will be the one interface that the user will have. And then at connectivity level, you have the SAP Cloud Integration Service. When we are talking about on-premise, the only thing that changes from the previous case will be for the persistence. You know, instead of doing the persistence for with the cloud application, you will do it with the on-premise system, with the CRM, ERP, or any other on-premise that they have. No matter that it's SAP or non-SAP, so you can do it with any on-premise system. Those would be the main scenarios that we have. Next, we will talk about the development tools, and then we will go to the platform directly. So in terms of development tools, we have something that we call SAP Cloud Platform Cockpit, and you will hear this a lot from now on. Do you know that the pilot of the plane has, when he goes to start the flight, he has a main board, the cockpit, with everything at the same place. Actually, this is why we call it SAP Cloud Platform Cockpit, because you have everything that you need regarding the cloud platform in one page. So you'll have everything there regarding the applications that you started, the services, the databases, everything is there. So you will see later. Or if you already have created an account, you have already seen that. Then we have a nice tool that I've seen that people are really interested about. I mean, they're showing a lot of enthusiasm towards this. Is the build tool. This one is for prototyping. So either there are consultants or developers. Sometimes you need to create an application, a prototype before you create the actual application. And using this tool, you actually are able to create the prototype, validate it with your team or with the customer, and then import it into your new project, and already have the and you will already have the user interface when you start coding. So you maybe just have to fine-tune some things regarding the user interface, but then you just need to add the logic and everything from the backend. We will have an exercise like this later. Then regarding the runtimes, we offer Java, JavaScript, and HTML5 or SAP UI5. These are the main developing languages. XSJS is for accessing the HANA database and the applications that run on that. Then we have, as we are part of Cloud Foundry, we have some other new languages that we brought this year. So one of them is Node.js, and the other one is Python. We are having a strong community and we are offering support to that. But what is new is that you can also bring your own language. So if you want to use PHP, Ruby, .NET, Go, and many other things that you might think of, you can do that. But at this level, you won't have the support from SAP, maybe just from the community. But you will see there is a really strong community developing on this cloud platform. Next, we have the tools that we are going to use. First of all, for Java and also for HANA development, you can use Eclipse. You have the SDKs and all the environment is ready to set up in like 15 minutes, not more. And then you can do all the development there and deploy it at the end on the cloud platform. Also for HANA development, you have a cloud possibility to manage that. So it's the HANA web-based development workbench that you can use. And then we will have SAP Web IDE, which is our cloud IDE that we are actually going to play a lot with today. So I will leave it for later. As I mentioned, the responsive part of using Fiori, as you can see here on different type of screens, the application looks different and it's adaptable by default. And this I will leave for later because we have a lot of resources that you can use in order to learn more and to practice and find examples for your code. So let's go to the platform. Oh, I need to go from here, I guess. Everyone that has the laptop, I advise you to connect to them now and go to cloudplatform.sap.com. And create an account. That's the first step. If you already have one, you can have a short break of 5 minutes until everyone will create it. Also, you can check your emails. In a few minutes, I guess you will receive an email with all the materials for this workshop. You can just download you can just go through them, but we will use them later. Okay, so does everyone have the account? Yes. So is there anyone that doesn't have the account yet? Raise your hand, please. No? Okay, great. So we can move on. Before we will start working together on the exercises, I want to make a short introduction to the platform. So first of all, I will go to here when you will join. You will have two main components. The first one is the Cloud Foundry. That one is deployed separately on Amazon Web Services. And the other one is the Neo environment, which is in our infrastructure. I will go to the trial account. And here we have the cockpit. Actually, here we have all the things that we need. So on the left part we will have the menu with all the details and the shortcuts to the pages. Then on the right part we will have the dashboards with the details about Java application, HTML5 applications, also details about our account. For sure you will have something like a P user or an S user depending on how you logged in, so you will need to use that when you deploy applications. Then when we go to applications, we have the Java applications first. So here on this page you will have details about the state, the name, and how many processes and the start time. On the trial account you will be able to start only 3 applications, actually 3 processes. If you choose to have one application with 2 processes, you will have just 2 applications then. Because you have 3 CPU units, it's a restriction because it's a trial account. If you have a productive one, you can license as many as you need. When you choose to of course you can deploy them, but you cannot start them. You cannot have them more than 3 started at the same time. I will go to one of the applications to see more details about that. So the Java applications offer you the possibility to see details about the logging, to monitor your applications, to collect data about that, to see the resource consumption, for instance, the data that you use. And also you have on the first page, you have a link to that application to see how it's working. Being just a Java application is not something, I mean, it depends on what you display on that. But for instance, this one was an application where I was scanning a device, and then I was scanning this QR code, and then I was opening a gateway for an IoT sensor device reading. So I will go back. Here you can have details about consumptions during the last 24 hours. Of course, when you will be in productive and you will work constantly on that application, you will have more relevant information that you have in a trial account for demo applications. Then also, for instance, in resource consumption, you can see, as I told you, the data transfer and the requests. And you can start collecting and generating reports about the collected data. And I will go next to the HTML5 applications. Or actually you have more or less the same, but here you can have as many applications as you want because they are not using CPU. And also what is different is that here you can deploy different versions of the application. Usually when you want to do versioning, you are using Git because we are offering you a Git service. But for HTML5 applications, you can also see the versions deployed in this part inside the platform. I mean, to see it here. And also, if you want, you can activate to do a rollback, for instance, if you want, or things like that. I will skip the services. We will go to this later because I want to do the overview first. Then, when we go to databases, you can find all the schemas that you have for all your applications. And in terms of connectivity, we have 2 main things, destinations and cloud connectors. And actually, for you to understand better what these refer to, I want to draw something. Can everyone see here? I'm not sure. Okay, so when you have, let's say, the first scenario that I was mentioning, the new application part, usually you have a database that you are going to be that you are going to manage in a Java application, let's say, because that's the main part. And then later on, you are going to have also an SAP UI5 application for you have this SAP UI5 application for the front end. So that's the basic scenario. Of course, you can develop this one in WebID. The latest one. Of course, this is something simple, it's easy to understand. But what happens when you have actually an on-premise system that you want to connect to? How does your data come from here to from the on-premise to the WebID? So let's say we have the on-prem. It's an ABAP, let's say, because we know that our partners, this is what they like to use. So how do you bring the data to the cloud? Oh, I will switch to another marker. So in order to bring the data to the cloud, we have something that is called SAP Cloud Connector. That it's making the connection between the on-premise and the cloud. So this is like it's creating a VPN tunnel between the cloud platform and the on-premise. You can install it on the on-premise system. You are going to configure the things there, the URL, the authentication, what you are exposing. Usually you expose OData because it's easier to be consumed in the WebID application. But okay, the data will come here. In order to be, I mean, you will configure this on the on-premise, and the on-premise system will know you need to push the data to this cloud platform. But how to show the cloud exactly where that data is? You need to create something that we call destination. So this has the same configuration as you have put here. It's telling the cloud system, and I mean how to get the data, where to get it from. And then later on, you can use this OData, it will be. You can use it either here in an SAP UI5 application, or you can use it in a portal, for instance, or maybe in mobile services. Or in any other service that we are providing. So these are the main concepts regarding developing applications, and I will show you how the destination looks like now. So let me see if I have something for an on-premise. Yes, the S4. So here you have the configuration, the type of connection, the URL, what type of proxy is going to wait, the authentication, and some properties that you are going to find in the documentation. For instance, here I have the properties for using the data in WebID. You can, after you prepare your destination, you can check it and see if it's working. For instance, this one is not going to work because I don't have the on-premise system connected now. So I can see backend is not determined. But if I'm looking for another one, for instance, this one is something for a service that it's exposed over the internet. So this one is working. You can do the proof check at this level, for instance, to see if your backend is okay and you can expose the data. We will come back to this later because you will also have the chance to create a destination and then use this in the WebID. In the security part, we have the trust service. So in trust management, you can either use SAP, which is by default, or you can add another trust provider. You can do the configuration here. Also, you will have to grant your users authorizations for all the services that you need to use. For instance, I will insert here my user. And I will see that I have access to most of the services because I have used them. But for instance, when you want to use the gamification service, you will need to provide that user admin service or help desk authorization and other things that are specified in the documentation. In the trial accounts, some of them are done by default, but in the productive, you need to do them manually. So when you will have more users, you can, for instance, create groups and assign all the roles to everyone at the same time. I told you also about the Git repositories that you can have for all the applications. And for instance, here we have the document repositories. If you have something like file sharing inside an application, you can store them in a document repository inside the platform that you will find here. So I will go now to services. Oh, before that, something that I want to show you. You can find all the links to documentation, community, tools, support, everything is in the platform. So that's why we say that it's exactly like the cockpit of the pilot. You have everything there, you don't have to connect to anything else. So I will just briefly go to the services, to the main categories for you to get an idea what we have here. If you have, you will want details about some services, we can discuss during the break. Also, if you need some specific tutorials like for mobile development or, I don't know, predictive or things like that, you can reach to me and I can send you some specific materials for your use cases. So, the first category is analytics. Here we have the predictive service where we have more than 90 algorithms that you can already use in order to process your data. Also, we have SAP Analytics Cloud. This one is for visualizing the data and creating nice charts, and it's something like a BI tool. Then we have in the business services, we have services for e-commerce. We brought some hybrids as a service inside the platform, or for real spend, tax services, they are already available, they are ready to use. Then in the collaboration, we have the gamification. I will actually open this one. Vlad mentioned the use case from Semos, where they were rewarding their employees, the employees and the colleagues. So if you go to service, you can get a platform. It's actually a new application that is ready to use, and it helps you and enables you to create the game rules, badges, also awards, or how actually the whole game that is based. It's at the base of your application. So let's wait a while for it to load. Also, you can monitor your user engagement in this part. If you want to see if your application is used and how they interact with each other, you can see it here. Being on the trial, sometimes there can be a few seconds delay because there are like more than 200,000 accounts on the same server, and of course there can be some delays sometimes. Also depending on the service and how many people are accessing it. Okay. So here, of course, I don't have any game defined yet, but if I would have, I can see all the points, level, badges, missions that have been created, the players that are available in the game. I can create all of those. I also have a rule engine that I can use. I can see the players and also some analytics based on that. If we are here on this page, I want you also to show you what are the main parts of the services page. So first of all, you have the documentation. It's a direct link to that service. Then maybe there are some tutorials depending on the service. The go-to service that opens the new application that you can use, and then the configure service where you will be able to define first of all the destinations, if you have specific destinations for this service, and also the roles, who can access this. So you can define them also here, not in the main category. I will go back to the services now. So do you have any questions so far? Yes? Yes, so no. Actually, if they are not enabled, when you will go on one service, let me see if I have something. Yes. Well, look, for instance, this one, I'm not having it enabled. When you will go on that page, you will have a button that says enable. So you can just press it and it will start. If it's not starting immediately, you can try it once again, and if it says an error or something like that. But when you don't have it, it's written not enable, it means it's available, but you have to press a button. If there is nothing, as it's here with the SAP Analytics Cloud, it means it's not available in the trial, because there are some separate licensing to that, and there are too many resources that are needed, so they can be available in the trial. Okay, another collaboration service is SAP Jam. It's something like an enterprise Facebook that you can use. So we have many customers that want a portal where they can share documents and work together on different projects. So this is one case that you can use too. So you can explore it also later. Regarding the storage, we have already discussed. For development and operations, we have a lot of services that can help you do the development easier. So for instance, for debugging, for profiling, for lifecycle management, monitoring, there are many services that can help you. Also, in this part, you will find the Web IDE. There is also something called Web IDE for multi-cloud version. It's something that is right now on development, let's say, because they want to integrate it with all the languages that you can bring. So it will be one Web IDE for everything. But so far, later we will use this Web IDE. Also, something that maybe it's useful for you, if you want to apply, for instance, to a challenge from another country, let's say from Romania. For instance, most probably you will develop the application in English, but if you want, you can also translate it to Romanian, because we have this translation hub service that will translate the business language into another language from, I mean, we have like 130 languages supported. We will use this also later, because to give you a short preview, we are going to develop an SAP Translate application. So that means it will be an application that translates from English to different language, for instance, for Croatian or Romanian, as I mentioned. Yes? Yeah, sure. To be honest, on this I don't have so many details. I know that it's used through APIs. If you want, we can go to. Well, I mean, we can discuss later to see exactly what's interesting for you. I mean, what you're interested on. Also, going on with the integration services. First of all, we have API management. When you have lots of APIs, sometimes, I mean, let's say there is a developer that is creating the application, it's using lots of APIs because, well, let's face it, this is how it's working now. But when another developer comes on, they don't know exactly what's happening there. So that's where we see this API management tool role, where you can actually manage everything that is happening in your application. Also, you can create APIs from this tool and then expose them. And we have also some APIs that are already developed for the SAP application. So I will go here. The API Business Hub. And if I'm going here, you will see in the application we'll actually use the APIs for Translation Hub from here. So I just want to show you how it looks like and where you can get the code, because you can generate the code in different languages, for instance for Java, for Swift, for JavaScript. And just 1 second. In the meantime, I can talk to you about the other services. So we have also data provisioning for managing the OData service, cloud integration, and the connectivity, which are, first of all, it's the cloud connector, and also on the second part is the PI, process integration and data integration. So you can also integrate workflows, and we can see that it's loaded. I will write translate. And we found the translation hub. Where you will have different kind of options. So to get data from there, to translate it to, so in the artifacts, you have the translation hub artifact. Some more complex applications or services have more artifacts here, so that's why this is as an intermediate step. Okay, so in the resource part we have get, for instance, you can generate the code for that, file translations, languages, all that are related to this translation hub. So for instance, for this, you can generate code, as I mentioned, and see exactly what you will need. Actually, this is something that we will add to our application later when we will use this, if we will use this service. It will be for Java, Swift, curl, ABAP also, and SAP UI5. That's just an example. So going back, we still have a few services left. We have Internet of Things. Here you can manage your devices and your messages. So you can create and enroll devices there, and then use that ID in order to communicate with that device. I want to show you just really briefly an application that has been done using the Internet of Things service. First of all, let me connect my sensor tag. Okay, so here I have the sensor tag that has sensors for vibration, light, GPS, also temperature, and I think that's it. A vibration, actually. And let me also open my gateway for that. Okay, now it's starting the bridge. Okay, it's already sending messages. Now if I'm refreshing the application, I can already find my InnovMatch sensor. It's already locating it. Just here in Zagreb. The other one is this Rainier, which is in Netherlands. So mine is here in Zagreb. I already can see that the parameters are changing. And also, for instance, if I want, I can create a rule. If the light is the easier one to test. So if the light it's close to 0, I will get an SMS to my phone number. So let's see. I will try to. And I'm not sure if you have heard, but I received a message that it's an alert in Zagreb with an issue. That's just a small demonstration. You can do something similar only with the Internet of Things service and portal and what we are offering you through this SAP Cloud Platform. So I will move on. If you have if you have questions regarding the Internet of Things and what are the innovations here, because there are some other things that we can share with you, they are not available in the trial account, but still, if there are partners that have interested in Internet of Things, we can discuss, because we can offer some other demo accounts where you can test the new innovations. So we can discuss during the breaks. Going on, we just have a few more. So we have mobile services where you can first of all do the mobile development. You have the development and operations. There are three main kind of applications that you can develop. First of all, there is the web application that can be run in your browser, also on the phone. Then you have a native application. You can develop applications for Android or iOS. So if you want to do that, there are lots of tutorials on that can show you what's the process from the start until the end. And then you can also do hybrid applications. You have a web application that is going to be run in a container like Cordova. Those are three main cases actually are covering the whole requirements from this mobile development area, so you can choose depending on the use case. And then we have application and device management that you can use in order to push applications directly to your devices or to do remote assistance on those. Also, you have the possibility to run virtual machines. On the security, we already talked about authorization. Also, we have key store services where you can store your keys securely, and you have also the identity provisioning. In terms of user experience, we will see this in practice because we will have to work a bit on that. So we have the build and the portal. So now let's go straight to work. So I hope you received the email. Is there anyone that didn't receive the email? You and you? Okay. You did? Okay. There should be something like, just let me oh, my email, this one is not online, but so you should have received something like that. So you didn't receive it? Or no? Can you send me an email to my address? Just I will write it here then. So who didn't receive this email, please send me an email so I can send it to you. In the meantime, the others, you can download these two folders. I mean, you have the link and download SAP Translate and Web ID app. Don't download the other tools because in the Java app you have a tutorial that you can use later at home. It's like a step-by-step tutorial because we now won't have time for that. And you also have all the tools. I mean, for Mac, for also for Windows and Linux. So it will take a while. So just download these two and then unzip them. So have you downloaded the files? I sent you also the email. It will take like 2 minutes to be sent. So in the meantime, anyway, I will explain the exercise, so you still have time. Okay, so you have downloaded this too. We will start with the Web ID application. So let me explain you a bit what it is about. So just to open the file. You will have a tutorial. That's actually a step-by-step tutorial. So first of all, in this exercise, we will try to develop a web application from scratch. We will need to see exactly which files we need to change there. You will have scripts for all the code. You won't need to do the coding, just to understand what's happening there. So first of all, you will need to have access to some kind of data, because we don't have time to set up an on-premise environment now on all the computers. We will use an online data provider. It's an open weather map. This one is a service that will provide an API to get the weather in different cities. That's what we are going to use. So first of all, you will need to create an account here. Then you will have to create the destination. That's the next step. You will see you will need to put your API key there. And then we will go to Web ID and create a new application. So first of all, when I want to show you some configuration, how you do that, you go to File, New Project from Template. And here, if you go to all categories, you will have many templates that you can use. For instance, you can use a master detailed kind of template that already has some views there. I mean, it has the master detail view that you just need to configure. But in this case, we will create just a simple application that has nothing there. It's a blank application, so we will use SAP UI5 application. Next, it's really important what name you will put to this application, because it's set it in the code that I prepared for you in the script. So if you will not put this name, this means that you will need to change some more things in the code, to the path of the project and everything. So please use this one as name. So you will see it also in the tutorial, but just to be sure, temp demo web ID. That's for the name of the project. And then on the next part, I put in one because I already have this here, so you won't need to do that. Here you will leave XML, and in the view name, so this is project name, to view name, it's weather. This is just for technical reasons, so you won't spend too much time on changing things in the scripts. You will see them also in the tutorial. And then you will go, you will already have the application created. This template will create the structure of your web application, all the files that you will need to change then. After this, you will need, first of all, to put the code for the destinations. You also need to match the destination that you have there with this code in NeoApp.json. The next part will be to go to the view and create the tiles that you are going to use, the design of the application. Here it's just, there will be just 2 tiles, it's nothing too complicated. Then you need to go in the controller to say what's happening when you press that button. Usually, for instance, when you press a tile, it opens a new page. In this case, we have just a one-page application, and it will just go to a link. Next, we create the model for the data. It's the 4th script. Here you will need to change your API key. And last but not least, you will need to write in the component Well, you will actually create, say exactly what will be for each tile. So for instance, here if I put Zagreb and Bucharest, I can also change it to, I don't know, London or something like that. I can have only 2 tiles because that's what I have defined in the view. And when you run it, make sure please that you are here in a temp in the folder, I mean in temp demo web IDE. You go right click, run as web application. And the result should be 2 tiles, one with the weather of Zagreb and the other one with anything that is defined there. In my case Bucharest. The first time it will take a bit longer. And here it is, the simple app. It's something like a hello world, but a bit more complex, let's say. So I can see that in Bucharest people are really having a lot of sun there, not raining like this. That's why I'm wearing a skirt, a dress. So you can go to, you can start working. This will be an individual work. Everyone will work in their own rhythm. You have the instructions there. If you have questions, you can reach to me. We have like 25 minutes, let's say, for that, or less, depending on how fast you are going to be. Can you? Okay, thanks. One small mention that I want to make. So when you will need to do that part with the destination, you need to unzip the file first, because you have already destination prepared. So in the folder that you have downloaded, you already have a destination that is prepared for you. So you have the link and everything. You will need to unzip it, and then you will be able to import it into your account. It's a, have questions or you need help, please ask. Yes. you have seen that the weather is it's mostly like the weather in London for you, and in Bucharest it's sunny and nice. I hope you managed to do the exercise and that you understood a bit. I mean, my idea was to show you what is the process of developing an application from scratch. You get the structure from the template and then you add your code. In order to, to show you where I found all that code and how I put it there, I want to show you the Fiori library before we have the break. So just let me copy paste the link. You will also get these links in the presentation on the last slide. This is the Fiori library where you will find all the controllers and everything that is related to that. You can actually get the code for all the elements. For instance, for a chart, you get the code that you need to paste in the, you need to integrate in the view, then in the controller, and maybe if it's a more complex one, you'll get more files that you need to change. Okay, so we got all the elements here. Just let me write here chart or something. Maybe this one. So I think I have some issues with the connection because it's not working yet. Okay, so let's try again. I will try with this one. Good. Okay, in the meantime, I will go to the Fiori first page, where you will actually find all the elements that you can have here. So, as I told you, lists, frameworks for charts, buttons, anything that you might need in terms of Fiori design. So you will find all the details here. Also, how to use them, details about implementations, resources that you can download and use later. And here, when it will work, apparently now there is a buffering issue, you will get also the code. I mean, if you go to that link, you will have the possibility to have the code and see an example of how to use it, that you can just copy paste it later. Also, something that it's nice, if you are interested in mobile development, you will see that you have also the possibility to have different kind of Fiori style elements for iOS. So, you know, it's a different look and feel. You still have these kind of things here. You will get all the links in the presentation. Also, some other resources for the web development and not only can be found on the internet. If you write just search on Google blog posts, tutorials, you will find lots of materials from people that in the community that are already using and sharing best practices and how they see it in their projects. That's just something that I wanted to show before we have the break, because right now we will have a second exercise. It will take a bit longer, around 1 hour, 15 minutes, something like that. So I prefer to have it everything in one block. So you can have like 15, actually I think 10-15 minutes break. Or I'm not sure exactly how it was. Yes, 15 minutes until past 20. So 20 past 2, sorry. Yes, not past 20 because we will not be in town that much. Sorry. and then we will continue with the SAP Translate application.